Hi, Pam Fuller here again with another space planning update. It's been a while since we've had the last one and a lot's been going on. So I want to hop right into some of the updates we're going to look at. Again, our format is around really what we know, what we're exploring, and then those ways that you can be involved. So what we know revolves around Lion Path, what's happening with the 300 North Science Park Road building, a lot of things going on there. We're still exploring some with that building, and we've also added a feasibility study in for computer building and Shields. So we'll move forward and talk about those a little. So with Lion Path, there's a phase one, which was actually moving Lion Path into the third floor of 300 North Science Park Road. Phase 1B then is taking the space that used to be data center space and converting that to a training lab and also to a couple collaborative areas. And that's still on hold a little. We're waiting for some air handling units to be delivered, but I'm hoping that'll be finished perhaps by the end of summer, maybe a little into fall. There are new residents on that floor. The Identity Services unit moved out to the third floor of North Science Park Road just a couple weeks ago. Now they are there temporarily. They are due to move on to the second floor as soon as that part of the renovations is complete. But they're out there now and doing some collaborating with the Lion Path group. It also gives us a little bit more room in the computer building for some other moves. So while all of this is going on with the new building, we're still continuing to have some other moves. Also for phase 2, which is floors 2 through the lower level of the building, it's important to note that we got about, over $1 million more, thank goodness, as we had many systems of the building that really needed to be upgraded. So as they dug into that building, they found more and more and were able to find some more dollars to be able to handle those without impacting our programming part and furniture and equipment that we needed for the building. So I'm very thankful for that. There's also the Project Decision Review Board. I've talked about them before. That is a board as part of the capital planning process through OPP that included David Gray, Dr. Jones, and Dr. Barron now, and they did approve the renovations plans for 300 North Science Park Road. That's an important step, and the next step is actually to go to the Board of Trustees in July. Once we have that approval, we're able to move forward with the construction part of the renovations. They've just been doing demolition up to this point, and it is processed in a building this expensive to make sure that the board approves all of those renovations plans. So that'll be happening in July. We still have our current move-in dates, anywhere from around the March timeframe through hopefully by Memorial Day next year, we will all be in the building. So that still stands to this point. As we know, things can change rapidly, but we're going to stay positive on that one. Other things that are going on in the 300 North Science Park Road is the Collaboration Cafe. So this type of a cafe really takes a partnership between the vendor, the food service vendor that will be bringing those in. We did an RFP. We have 2 vendors that are still interested. Due to the nature of the amount of people in this building and the fact that they can't really advertise outside with any signs due to zoning regulations in that area, we're working hard with them to make sure that we're developing a food program that meets the needs and doesn't exceed those, and that'll be helpful for all the residents of the building. The ability for a vendor to stay in that building, though, will really depend on the folks that are in the North Science Park Road building. So if we make sure that we visit that vendor and eat lunch there at times and are able to make it financially stable for them, it'll work out well. So more to come with that, but we're working on negotiations. Also, the exercise facility, the requirement to handle those recreation facilities and the governance of that has moved from athletics to student affairs. So I will be meeting with Stan Latta, who is a new person in charge, a new position created to oversee those recreational facilities for students I'll be meeting with him next week to start talking about the exercise facility. So I will have more to come on that. And we just we're in the balance there, waiting for some dust to settle after some other transfers and transformations, as we're all aware, are happening even within IT. Also, a big thank you again to all those that helped with the design team, with the program, sharing your comments on Wikispaces, sharing your comments on Yammer. It's been great to hear all that, and now we're hopefully moving into our renovation phase. Something else we know is that we're currently also doing a feasibility study between Shields and Computer Building. So basically what happens to the other two buildings as we're moving folks around in the aftermath of moving people out to North Science Park Road. So with that, we have contracted with an external architecture firm, and they are working with the leadership that's listed there from TLT, AIS, data centers, facilities, and ICS, Institute for Cyber Science, and that's where our group, formerly known as RCC, is now considered ICS. They do have a piece of the computer building, as when units are transferred, that footprint is also transferred to the new unit. So we're working together to try and see how we fit the multitude of people that feel they need to be in the computer building, how we fit them all in there. It will be an overloaded building. Shields building as well needs to have some adjustments for fitting TLT into that building. So what we're really looking at now is not a design team. We're just doing a study team to see, can we fit those people in? What do we think it's going to cost to have to make adjustments that we need? How do we do that maybe in phases? So we're working with the architects on that and hope to have a report on that by the end of June. Don't have any next steps. We know that we'll have data then to present to Kevin, to leadership across Penn State, and say here's where we are. No formal funds have been identified yet, as we're not really quite sure what that would cost. So we'll probably have a couple different options, from how do we just move in and use the space to what would we do with the space if we had our druthers. So that'll be moving along, and you'll hear more about that as we get more details. So what we're exploring, again, leveraging resources in new ways. Change brings all that and impacts all. So again, how we're doing desktop support, networking, and printing. Rhonda Brown is working on that. Also administrative assistant support, and general office support. How do we do that in all of our new configurations? So your patience, your ideas, your thoughts, and your positive energy towards making all that work is much appreciated. And then also the exercise facility. So we will, in the 300 North Science Park Road space, have a space available. It will not have equipment in it until we are able to work through this with student affairs. And coming up, again, I spoke the last time about leadership sessions. We will be getting those this summer scheduled for the fall, and that is where we will hope to have all leadership, all managers or supervisors come together to say, how do we support staff through all these shifts, and what do the leaders, the managers, the supervisors need from ITS leadership to help them get through that process. So we'll be having those sessions that we'll schedule a number of them, and folks can sign up and we'll work through those issues. Also, a new building environment group, I'm hoping this fall to bring that together to also help with the move, so that we can be prepared probably more towards the January timeframe to start meeting and seeing what needs we will have to ensure that the move of those folks up to 300 North Science Park Road and the rest of the moves here on campus can be handled the best way possible. So again, there's a Yammer group for your input. Be glad to have that. I am still offering tours for the building out there if anybody wants to go out and be able to walk around the third floor and see the building. So those, please just contact me, and I usually do those on Fridays at around 4:30, but we can make times to do that when it fits yours and your colleagues' needs. So please know that's available to you. I'm hoping once we get through July, we'll have more pictures of the space and actual renovations. Right now it's just demolition, but we're hoping to be able to get in there. But it still is an active construction site on all the floors except the third. And then also with, please email me any questions that you have. Pete Caparuccio is our new facilities representatives. So he replaced Nate Fagan, who left the area to take a job. And so please welcome Pete. Feel free to contact him as well. He's been helping with a number of the moves, and we're very excited to have him. So thanks so much. Again, contact with any questions, and have a great day.